Agnes, if I say motherwort, which archetype would you think of then?
I would associate motherwort with a warrior woman, a bit like Athena in the Greek mythology, because it's a plant that is more feminine and care for everything which is feminine and the home and the hurt. But he's displaying quite strong boundaries to protect it. And if you look motherwort and how it looked like in the garden, it's really big. It takes a lot of space, but also if you try to catch and to touch the plant, there is spine near the flower that show you like, oh, that keep you distances. And this is what I would associate as an archetype for motherwort.
Thank you, thank you. And I fully agree. And first of all, welcome to all to this episode of Herbal Talks. And Herbal Talks is a podcast by me, Carmela from Örtfabriken, and Agnes from Nordiska Örter. And today the topic is about the herb motherwort. And we will go a little bit, as always, share our combined skills. Agnes will talk a lot about how to grow the plant, specifics, how to take care of it, how to make a tincture. And I will go a little bit more into how to use it. So, super happy to be here, Agnes, with you again. We had
Yes.
quite an adventure last year, 2025, growing motherwort and tincturing it.
Yes.
You are growing it in your farm outside of Uppsala, or in Uppsala, outside of
Yes, Uppsala.
Stockholm in Sweden. And we have then made the tincture and we are offering it like through Örtfabriken, my web shop, and you are also offering herbs. Oh yeah, look. And so please, you made an excellent introduction, but let us know a little bit more about this plant.
Yeah. Well, if I can take and center it around gardening and all the kind of botanical properties of and characteristic of this plant, it's a plant which is from the mint family, so the Lamiaceae family. The Latin name is Leo. If I make a mistake, please confirm, correct me. Leonus cardiaca.
Yes,
My
Leonorus.
Yeah, yes, for lion's heart. So it's a plant which is from the Lamiaceae family, so this mint family, but it doesn't look like or reproduce or expand as any kind of minty plant we usually encounter. So a mint family plant, it's a plant that will have a very square stem. All the mint, if you cut the stem, they will have like a square stem. That's how you recognize you are in the Lamiaceae family. And then along the stem, the leaves are always in the same and in the same level. And then at each time you have two leaves. On the top of it, there is two leaves, but in like 90 degree, and then two leaves, and then two leaves in 90 degree. So that's kind of the two characteristics of the mint family. The mint family is also very aromatic often, but motherwort is a bit different in the way that is not that aromatic as we can associate peppermint, mint, or lemon balm that are really, really scented and they really have a lot of essential oils. Motherwort has a bitter taste. So it's really, really bitter. So if you kind of take a leaves and put it in your mouth, it won't be much aromatic, but it will be extremely bitter. It's a bitter herb, which also gives it energetic. When you meet a bitter plant, you meet a plant which is often cooling. And will help also with the digestive system. So that's something we find also very common in mint family. Often they are cooling and helping with the digestive system, either because they bring some bitterness, either because they are aromatic, for example. And then, so I grow a full bed of motherwort and I started it from seeds. It's really easy to grow. It's really not complicated. The seeds are really small, but they don't demand coldness or stratification, like being broken, for example. They don't demand the light For example, some plant for germination, they need to be exposed to the light. They are pretty easy, but they are very small, so you should not cover with too much soil on top when you sow them. So you can leave them on the surface, just putting a very thin layer of very thin soil on top, and then just in spring, as you will do, like you keep it maybe under plastic, like you put your pot, you put some seeds, and you cover a little bit with soil, a bit of plastic on top, just to keep the humidity, and it should come on its own pretty quickly. It's have quite a high germination rate, and if it's good seeds, it's really hard, I think, to find seeds in Sweden of motherwort, because it's not a plant that you find in seeds or in seedlings or even in dried form here in Sweden. So I have now collected a lot of seeds from the garden. So next year on my website, seeds will be available for a couple of seeds will be like package will be available. So I'm starting to do that to spread a bit the plant. So then it grow pretty quickly, pretty easy. It will become it will make like a balls of low leaves. And then when you place it in the garden, and as the suns, like especially in Sweden, comes and become longer and longer, then it will do this long, it will go in very long and high stem that can reach like 1.5 to 2 meter, like it was higher than me in the garden. And very to me it's look like people who came to the garden. It was like on the garden, it's really at the edge where there is a path where people walk by, and from the city they walk back in this green space where my garden is, and they were all stopping like, what is that? That is that, because it was really like immense big plant, and it looks a bit dangerous. When it gets big and tall, the leaves are not so roundish anymore, they became very pointy. And then if you will put your hand when they're in flower, it's really like you have all this spine. So it's you can get like you can have pain because it's like a small thorn kind of around the flower. So it's really kind of here, and it looks a bit dangerous. And I think some people were also confusing it with, they were thinking it's cannabis.
Yeah.
So it looked a bit like cannabis. It's tall, it's pointy, it's like, and they were like, oh, what is that? What is that? What is that? Oh, it's Hjärtstilla, like a motherwort. And none of them, not much people knew, but that was the impression. They were really like kind of, oh, wait, like this is something which seems to be not, that people feel is like, if it a bit like cannabis, is dangerous? Is this legal? We are a bit on the edge. That's what it looked like, and that's why I think motherwort has this archetype of Athena or defensive woman. It has, because it looked really defensive and careful if you touch me, but when it's, maybe we will talk later about that, about its property. It's actually called motherwort because it's the herbs for the mother. It can, so in many ways is good for women. It's supportive for women, but also if you are going through hard times, it's kind of act also as a mother on you to keep you safe in your zone, so you can move forward in the difficulty, and it can keep your heart safe. And that's why it's really caring, but it's really plays the boundaries to keep a safe space for love, let's say. But yeah, basically it has strong boundaries, but because it's a plant that care for homes. So yes, so that's kind of how it is in the garden. And
True. And I also for Örtfabriken, I named it Madame Motherwort, and that was also like, of course, the name like came to me, and it spoke by itself. Like the plant is exactly like you say, like and I also gave it like this dark pink color, like a cape. You can really feel this madam like in the garden with the cape floating and like deciding and being like like a queen, to say. Yeah. And how would you say that the motherwort likes most, like when it comes to sunshine, heat?
It's a plant that like sun. It's pretty. It hold well the sun. I think it's hold well also drought. It's just if it's too dry, then the leaves become a bit like purple and they will darken. Like even when it gets old, they also naturally darken. But I feel like if it's missing water too early, the leaves really darken into purple a bit too quickly. So, but it kind of hold well the drought and for the soil, I haven't noticed or read anything particular about this soil. Is not like skullcap, but like moist. Is not like lavender that needs sands. Like I think it can do well in a pretty mixed soil, and it will do well also. I think in clay, because it also will hold um, the water. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've been like reading about the motherwort. It's a really a long tradition of growing in the south of Europe. They use it a lot in Italy, I would believe in
Mm.
France as well. These are
Mm.
one of the nervines, the one of the plants for the nervous system that's most used there. It's much more known about than, for example, skullcap.
Mm.
But then I feel like very strong sunshine. Yeah, as you said, it's a little bit tough on it. I think
Mm.
it seems to really thrive in the Nordic regions, in
Mm.
Sweden, and would you agree that it really likes in to be with you in Uppsala?
Yeah. I think there is two plants that are amazingly growing well here and that can become really immense in Sweden that you don't find that big some other part. It's motherwort and valeriana,
Ha.
valerian that can
Mhm.
really grow huge in gardens. So
Mhm.
yeah, I think it grow well, and also the weather is not that dry, and you have kind of balance, except like around May June where it's often dried here in Uppsala. Otherwise, when it comes July and August, things became balanced and moist. I don't water anything in July and August or September. Like from July, mid July, nothing is water because just the weather it's it's just good enough as it is. It's only like June and May, which is really dry. And also, something I haven't mentioned is when you harvest it and how you harvest it. It's a plant that will become, as I said, as the suns become longer and the days become longer and longer, then it starts really to come up into like its stem and then flower on top. And that's the time in June. It's mid-June where it's in flower. It's biggest, is in flower, and is where be the first harvest, the main harvest of the season. And then, so if you have harvested by cutting this stem in June, mid-June, then it will often continue growing and give a second harvest, but much smaller, with much smaller stem by the end of August, September.
And how much did you cut off how much did you leave of the plant?
I don't like to motherwort. I don't know why. I don't like to cut it too low, like 20 centimeter. That's what I will do for other plant. I don't know. It's just so big and it has so thick stem. And the more you go down, the thicker the stem are, the more woody they are. And so I don't go that down. It's not. I think it's not useful because the quality down of leaves is too old, too 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 dark, too. Uh,
Woody.
woody, and even the leaves are old. And then I think the plant will not like it neither to be cut that low. So I don't know, I just feel it. So often it will be maybe half a meter
Mhm.
from 50 centimeter high. I will leave 50 centimeter,
Yeah.
and then cut the rest, so 1 meter approximately. I can cut 80 centimeter to 1 meter, which is often, basically, I will look where in the plant the leaves stop to be green. Like on the top, they are green and there is a flower, and the more you go down, the more they became oxidized or old or purple or orange. And when I just look where I reach this place and I cut and I keep the green top.
And do you like dry them on the stem, or how do you proceed?
Yeah, so that was a big questions this year. How do we proceed with motherwort? Because keeping the stem with the system of drying I had, I would have need to maybe have a ceiling and then some string and then put the. I think it would have worked great in that way. And then you need to separate the leaves from the stem, so to do the like splitting and. But I had only this drying rack. So and then put the stem like this on rack it doesn't work because it's too heavy and the leaves under will not have dried properly and it just would not have worked. It would have taken so much space. So what we did is that we used like compost kvarn, a compost meal, kinda.
Yeah.
So and so we passed the stem, the hard big stem, because really the stem were quite big, into this. So it chopped basically the plant.
A shredder.
A shredder, exactly.
Yes.
So it shredded into pieces, and then we could spread these pieces of motherwort on the.
Smart. Yeah.
Which ended up to be a really good. So I think I'm going to continue like that, because then it was much more easy to separate the leaves from the stem, and it was also nice then to tincture them because they are already cut it into pieces, and they so it was a good way to do.
Yeah, it's amazing. And we went visiting you this summer, and it was one of the best days of last summer. And it was fantastic to see your herbal farm. And it's like you do everything manually, and you have the help of interns. And it's like everything is done by hand, and it takes an enormous amount of time and energy and resources. So really, like everything you do is like it's difficult to explain like how much work is behind every little leaf that comes from there. And when you do the tincture, you do it by fresh herbs. Can you say something about like why do you do the motherwort from fresh herb and not dried, and how the process is?
More I work with herbs, more I prefer when it comes to tincture them fresh. They give something different than you take more, you save more of the vitality of the whole plant. You save more of its how it look like in the garden. I would say like it's alive constituent. When you dry it, you lose often a part of the energetic. For example, motherwort, as I said, it's very cooling. And if you dry it, you will lose a bit of this cooling that you have when you are fresh. And when you tincture fresh, you keep much more of this cooling. And I think the aromatics also, the taste become it's much more similar to the fresh one when it's tincture fresh. So that was, I think, the reason. It's to keep most of the plant alive.
True. And then I would agree. I think like also tincture wise, there are like always like a discussion. Should they be made like on fresh herbs, or more traditionally, maybe it's on dried herbs. But I do agree. If you can make them fresh, if you have the luck to do that, because of course you have to be there and do it exactly in that moment when you harvest them.
Yeah.
And how long do you let your tinctures macerate?
This one was a moon cycle I did.
A moon
28
cycle.
days.
Yes.
I like that.
Yeah.
If not, it would be 2 weeks minimum.
Yeah.
2 weeks minimum, but I had my holiday and so on meanwhile, so I just decided a moon cycle would be great. So if not, it's a minimum of 2 weeks.
Yeah, minimum of 2 weeks and a moon cycle, or longer if you can.
Yeah, I think longer will not necessarily be needed.
No.
Actually, it depends like how. I think the tincture is already very highly concentrated, so
Yeah.
it will not, at some point, the alcohol saturate. So no matter how much you can leave longer, it won't extract more. So
True. For me, it's more always like a matter of like pragmatism. Ah, okay, I don't have time, I forget. And then many people ask me like, oh, will my tincture be bad now that it's been like macerating for several months? No, it can never get bad. You
no.
just need to filter it and then you can safely use it.
Mm.
And
Yeah,
there is an issue with motherwort and the menstruum, the liquid, how right, we talked about it, that it easily absorbs a lot of liquid.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was an the experience on its own, making this tincture. I learned a lot about tincturing, I have to say. So what I have learned during my herbal studies is like when you make a tincture with fresh herbs, you should make a tincture with a ratio 1 part herbs for 2 parts of alcohol. That means if you put 100 grams of herbs, you put 200 grams of alcohol. But the thing is, 100 grams of motherwort take a huge volume, while 200 grams of alcohol take about 2 deciliter. So you end up with a lot of herbs who are not covered by the alcohol. Also, often it says you should use like an alcohol which is very high in percentage, like 80, or my studies were in France, so that was not a problem to find alcohol, like 80%. And because then you have it's fresh herbs, so there is water into it. So when you will mix the fresh herbs with the alcohol at 80, the alcohol percentage will decrease because you bring fresh herbs. So then you will obtain a tincture which is more suited for your needs. Also, often fresh herbs they serve more alcohol to extract the aromatic compound. For example, they are very oil soluble. This aromatic. Anyway. So, but obviously I could not do that. I could not use a 80% alcohol, and I could not use only a ratio 1:2. So then I say, okay, let's try out. I was listening a podcast, and they were saying they were doing, it was evolutionary herbalism in the United States, and she was explaining that she do a tincture with fresh herb of 1:5. And which is a ratio I know for dried herbs. You put 1 part of dried herbs for 5 of dried of alcohol. Sorry. So, but she did with this ratio with fresh herbs. So I was like, okay, let's try. So I think I did 1/4 with an alcohol of, it was 35 we have chosen, I think. And then I decided, how did I calculate it? I calculated based on the number of liquid we needed for the number of tincture. And then I added, so I put my liquid and then I added the motherwort a bit independently. I waited, but then I tried to kind of push it down and put it in all my jars that are needed. So, but it was very difficult to contain the herbs under the alcohol during the whole maceration, because, as you said, some just the plant keep drinking water, which also a sign that my motherwort wasn't that wet, and that's pretty dry. So that's why we did not get so much difference in alcohol at the end. We did get a lower percentage, and it was 29, I think, when you came. So it has decreased from 6% with refresh. But yeah, so we tested it out, and they ended up to be very, the tincture like is really dark.
Yeah, look, yeah, it's super, super
and
strong
that's
color.
And I did not filter it like super like the filter wasn't that thin, so it's not like there is a piece, like thin pieces still of motherwort into the liquid, and it's really by the color you can see it's really strong, but also by the color you can see that sometimes the leaves have darkened because they were on top of the alcohol and they needed to be pushed down. So how to conclude on that? It was maybe messy because it was messy, so maybe my words doesn't sound a bit complicated to take, and so what people should take from that, I think next year what I will do, I might do a bit differently when I make the tincture. I might care less about the ratio, but care more about making sure my whole plant is under the alcohol for the whole maceration.
Yeah. I think it's a good conclusion. And then, of course, Agnes, when you make tinctures, it's like you make in bigger volume. Like, for example, most of our listeners probably do a little batch for themselves. Then it's easier to regulate.
Yeah.
But I think it's a good conclusion that it's always like you can care a lot about the theory, but then in practice you need to follow the herb, what it
Yeah.
wants from you.
Mhm.
And what I take from the tincture, because I've been using it, and I'm using all my tinctures, trying them, testing them, and then of course on my friends and family a lot. And I think like definitely your motherwort is super, super potent. And everything that I could say, it's a luxury. It's a luxury to have something that's been grown like by heart, like from your hands, like from seed all the
Mhm.
way to the actual bottle, the tincture, without any
Mhm.
machineries, without any kind of industrialization whatsoever. So of course, then you really get a product also, and you have like the freshly tinctured herb is also something very quite different. And I would like you said a lot about the herb. Sorry, here about like the specifics of what it is. But I think like for me, I can really feel and I really need to be careful with motherwort. I think it's one of
Okay.
the strongest nervines
Mhm.
by far, and then you can feel that when you use it. So when I take like motherwort in tincture form, it's like 1, 2, 3 drops.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
For me, it's more 20,
Oh my
30.
God. No.
Yeah.
Oh. I think I don't necessarily like get tired of motherwort, but I do get a very, very strong sense of relaxation. And
Mhm.
if I would use like I've been growing like motherwort in my little mini garden, personal private garden, but also like if I use the leaves, I take like a leaf like this, like a coin,
Mm.
not bigger, and then I make a tea
Mm.
of that
I
size.
I remember you are pretty sensitive also and very receptive to herbs
Yes.
from other talk we had. Like you are taking the
Yeah.
quantity you are really um, like a pin, like herbs with a pinch of salt. And you were at some point mentioning like uh, that it's a plant that need to be kind of carefully used and
Yes.
respected. Can you talk more about, well, overall, can you talk more about that and also maybe about its property, which make you conclude this?
Yeah. And I think like it came, the name gives away a lot, like you said, like a motherwort, lion heart, Leonorus Cardiaca, like the appearance of the herb. It's not an easy herb, like you need to be careful. And it is a strong emmenagogue, meaning like it pushes everything. And it is a woman's herb, so it's used a lot for like hormonal imbalances to get the menstruation going, to ease and the menstruation, but never ever take it when the menses will start and if you have a heavy flow because it can really increase your flow. So then you should like be also go on the smaller doses. And I would say, like when I've been using it like as a nervine for the nervous system, I think like it really, really connects with the heart. So you can feel that it is like a heart for your heart to calm your heart. It's not like other herbs, like for example, skullcap is more like for mental buzz. When you have like too much going on in your head, you need to take it down a notch. But with motherwort, it's more like it protects your heart. So it's like, for example, I've been experiencing it as a mother. Like then you like maybe feel worried for someone else, like their safety, their like how has their day been? Maybe your heart is aching for them. They come home and then tell you something heartbreaking, and then the
Mm.
motherwort makes you handle it better because it protects your own heart. So you become stronger, like a lion heart.
Mm.
That's what I like, and
Mm.
that's where I could feel like, wow, this is like worriness. When your worriness is in your heart for someone else, it's not that you have too much in you, it's more like really protecting your heart. So I think in that sense, motherwort is a fantastic plant. And I really
Mm.
feel like it's, you should know when to use it. when you want to be maybe brave, when you want to be, when you need to be there, when you need to support someone else. Maybe that's like what I would define the properties of motherwort. And Agnes, have you tried?
Yes, yes. It's. I am trying. I have actually. It's a plant that came to me more than I went to. I would say, like even in the garden. And I haven't taken it or tasting it until last year, until it makes a tincture, until I dry it, and then I left for winter with dried herbs and tincture of motherwort. And I'm actually associating it or in my tea blends because motherwort is not really tasty. It's bitter, so I like to put it in the blend, and I found it very great with. Oh, I never know how to pronounce that word, nor in Swedish nor in English. It's aubépine in French. It's argton in English, and no, it's arvton in English and argton in Swedish.
Ah, hagtorn.
Yeah, yes, yes, the red one, the red
Yes.
berries and the bush. Yes, so the both combination of them because after that has also the heart healing kind of properties and grief. Lavender. So I have afton, motherwort, lavender, chamomile, and I put red clover, but that was more for moisturizing the blend, and that's helped me so to go through the winter really nicely in the way that I needed. I needed this kind of, exactly as you said, this protection for the herbs in time where I need to still be out, be there, but I don't have the power for, and I need to kind of protect my heart. And now I am taking the tincture, and I take it only on the evening. I don't take during daytime. I'm taking it on the so only on the evening. I take my 20 my 20 to 30 drop on the evening
Wow.
with and yes, and then I sleep really good and it calm me, and I don't know, it's I feel that I have done that has really make my heart in a safe place.
Mm.
I would
Mm.
So that's my experience, and now I've decided I'm going to continue with motherwort. I think for a long while this year. I think for the or at least the 4 to 6 first month of the year, I will need it. So I will keep it close by.
Ah,
But I use
nice.
it mostly for this. I need to stop to rush. I need to stop to be overwhelmed with emotions, and I need to learn to place boundaries to protect what I want to protect within me, and that's why I need it. And I also need this kind of wire, but safe security. I need security, and I think it's perfect for me at the moment, motherwort.
Wow.
So I am more in that way. I am not at all on the scientific or effect on the heart, like cardio or on the emmenagogue. It doesn't do anything on my period. I haven't changed. My period are amazing actually since I started motherwort. I don't have PMS. I am straight with the moon. I'm just so happy about that. I don't know if motherwort is doing something, but I am much more using motherwort for all this kind of more spiritual, emotional side than anything else.
That's fantastic. I think you really said something that resonates with me. Like for me, it's a lot like that. My heart can get more stuck and more hard during times of intense stress when you have a lot to do. So I want to like, and then maybe I need to reconnect with my heart. And I will also use in heart meditations. I will try to like add motherwort and see what it does to me. Okay, great, Agnes. I think we really got a feeling of this fantastic plant, the motherwort. And what me and Agnes wants to achieve with this is to give you a feeling of what motherwort is. And I do like if you feel called to this plant, please read more. Always use your common sense. You should always compare different sources of information. Read different materia medicas, different books, different follow different herbalists, and then you will get your own the basis and understand is this a herb for you really.
Mm.
And
we don't replace medical advice neither, so always inform yourself well when you want to use herbs.
definitely. And I do hope that you got wow, motherwort is something that I'm interested in. Then also that you got the message that it's an herb that you need to be careful with. It's a strong herb, it's a potent herb, it's it's a strong warrior woman. So please use it as that. And then also Agnes, with her expertise and her deep practical knowledge, also shared that it is a mint herb, a mint plant, and then it is easy to grow. If you get hold of the seeds, and then Agnes and her herbal farm will provide seeds in the future also. Try it at home, grow it at home. It's fantastic to have to be able to pick your own little leaf and make your own infusion with it. And then the motherwort, of course, the other takeaway is that it's a herb for women. It's really for the hormonal system, for digestion. It's a fantastic herb. So incorporate it, and also in your daily use, Agnes shared a fantastic blend. It was motherwort, hawthorn, lavender, chamomile. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And red clover, if you can
red
also.
clover. Yes, yes. I can really see the beauty in this blend and how it
It is.
really,
It's a lot of colors. It's
yes. And I've been using your dried herbs to make my infusions the whole December, January. It's been it's so it's giving me so much from nutrition and also from these that you mentioned, the herbs for the heart. It's really helps you, especially also like we've been trying to convey that the motherwort is the herb for the heart, for a strong heart, and for a brave heart. And with this said, then we would like to invite you to continue to support our small herbal businesses. When it comes, you can follow us on Instagram, and you can subscribe to our newsletters, and please stay in touch.
and our
Bye bye.
podcast too.
Sorry, and the
And
podcast.
subscribe to our podcast too.
Of course, subscribe to that and make us happy.
And especially maybe share it also with people that might be interested and benefit from this information too.
Yes, super important. Okay, Agnes, see you.
See you. Bye bye.